My name's Jemima Levick and I'm Associate Director here at Dundee Rep, and I am directing Anna Karenina. We've been in rehearsals for a week and a day now, and so far so good. Seems to be going well. We spent a lot of time around the table last week kind of talking about the play, discussing the novel, where sections of the play come in and how they compare to the novel, to sort of find similarities or differences, to see where Jo has worked with the original text and turned it into something more theatrical. And having spent a few days getting our heads around it, we started to get up on its feet. So this is kind of our second day of doing that. And so far so good. It's quite a complex piece of work because it's such an epic story and it works on such a grand scale, where it interweaves quite a lot from scene to scene. And so when you think you've actually kind of covered quite a lot of ground, you've only really covered a few short scenes. So that is kind of feeling a little bit surprising at the moment. But nonetheless, I think what Jo's done is she's managed to conjure and sort of distill the novel into the essence. She's given us the essence of the novel in the play, which really seems to work well. So that's really exciting. And all the actors feel as though they fit their parts beautifully, so that's always very reassuring at this stage. I think I was attracted to directing Anna Karenina for sort of quite a few reasons, really. It's a novel that I love, I think is really beautiful and incredibly epic and sweeping and really wonderful on so many levels, as I'm sure lots of other people who are far more articulate about it than I. But I think it's an extraordinary story, and I think one of the things I really love about it is it feels like it's not just a story about a woman called Anna Karenina, it's a story about two people, about Anna and about Levin, Konstantin Levin, and his story. And I think without the other, their stories feel a little two-dimensional, but it's the fusing together of those stories and the kind of the integration of all those other characters that really attracts me to it. Because I think Anna's story alone feels, obviously it's very passionate and it's a wonderful love story, and it's about a dilemma that this woman goes through. But actually her life and her world feels quite shallow, and it's so obsessed with the way one looks and the way one behaves that one, I think as a contemporary audience would get a bit bored of that. And then Levin, with his story, about farming and getting in touch with the earth and reattaching oneself to one's roots, I think is really important. But equally, on its own, a play about farming wouldn't necessarily interest me. But together they bring aspects of all aspects of life, I think, really. So that's sort of one of the reasons. I mean, the text that we're working with, Jo Clifford's text, I actually came across as an assistant director in 2005, which feels like a very long time ago now. But it was a play that I'd always loved working on, and I always knew I wanted to revisit it, not only because I wanted to do my own thing, but also I really felt like it was a text that really worked, and I really enjoyed the language and the story, and I felt like it sort of it was a play that needed to be seen again. So I suppose that was another reason why I was attracted to doing it with the ensemble, who fit the casting so well. And it does feel totally epic in proportion, although Jo's sort of distillation of the novel really helps that and doesn't make it feel quite so monumental as it might do if you were just sitting with a novel in your hand and you had to find a way of putting that on stage. But I think it does feel very complex in that the stories interweave, and you want to do justice to everybody and everybody's stories, and because there's so many stories, you want to sort of make sure that you don't skim over everybody, which feels different to any other kind of play that I've done, really. I think with The Elephant Man, for example, it was really focused on on two people's stories, with Treves and with John Merrick. But John Merrick tended to be the central focus, and Treves was kind of sort of next in line to that. But with this, you not only have Anna and Levin's stories, you have Kitty's story and Vronsky's story, and Oblonsky and Dolly as well, who are so essential to making it the sum of its parts. So I'm very aware that I want to serve all of them well. So I don't know. I suppose it just sort of it feels epic, but I think because of the translation, the adaptation, it feels manageable. I say that now, but I'm only a week and a bit into rehearsal, so I might change my mind in 4 weeks.